Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today I wanted to take the time to talk about if we sort of have a loud minority problem or an actual majority problem when talking about the Scarlet Enclave raid, where it falls, and sort of how the balancing has gone. Today is Tuesday morning at the time of recording, and it is the first Tuesday where we don't have impending hotfixes or changes to the Scarlet Enclave. Every single time we have had more changes ready to go, ready to roll out, and they'll say they'll be ready for this reset, and today is the first time that we don't have that yet. That does not mean that they will not post any later today, but for right now, we just are, this is the raid we're getting, and this is the first time we have sort of experienced that since the launch of SE. So very important to gauge where the devs sort of feel about this raid at this very moment. But I want to switch it over here to the forums and show you guys some other people's opinions, and then obviously talk about them myself and my experiences as well. So, SE Nerf recommendation. Another SM Nerf post, but I'm going to propose a solution that I would recommend to the devs. There are not a lot of issues surrounding this raid involving the difficulty in a 20-man team. Not 21, not 25, 20 is the issue. With 30, the raid feels balanced and like a normal raiding team, so let's get with the changes. Add an ICC buff that increases the damage of your team by 30 to 45%. But as a penalty for choosing this difficulty, you get the normal Scarlet loot table minus both mouse and drop from Beatrix and Calderon. You can get this difficulty mode by talking to an NPC at the beginning. That can be changed at any point in the raid before a boss. However, you choose to not have this buff activated, you get the chances at both new mounts in the raid plus another piece of tier off of each boss. If you beat every boss in this difficulty, a chest appears after Calderon that has 3 to 5 random non-tier items and 2 additional light forged ingots to incentivize running the full raid on hard mode. This satisfies both parties. If you don't like the difficulty of the normal level, or you just feel your raid needs to gear up more before trying 20 hard mode, or some bosses are easier than others, you could choose this difficulty, but know the amount of loot you get will be the normal slow rate we currently have. However, you are part of the elite that can clear this raid with 20 people on the hardest difficulty. You will be rewarded with the ability to be truly best at a relatively good rate and have epic mounts out of the raid. I do not want to hear this raid should be left the same and get good mentality, because it obviously shouldn't. But what I want to hear is more tweaks and it should be done. Any more reason on running on one difficulty versus another? Should there be more penalties and running onto the specific modes? So the biggest issue with this is that is essentially the entire system that we had previously for SOD for MC, BWL, AQ, and Naxxramus for just hard mode, essentially is what he's asking for. I think a 30% buff is absolutely insane. It's just kind of crazy. Just to right off the rip, go 30 to 45%. Like, that is max ICC buff is 30%. If anything, for buffs, I'd like them to do the gradual one that they did for ICC last time, was like 5%, 10%, and then work its way up. I think that would make a lot of people, really sort of gauge it. And even if it becomes too easy, you can hard stop it at 10 or whatever percent buff. I think the system that they would use is actually the Seal of the Dawn system. Just give you your rank 1 Seal of the Dawn, because everyone should have that, and all the gear sanctified, so literally just turn it on. It would be the easiest way for them to do it, I suppose. But the problem with this is they're ignoring one key factor, and that Scarlet Enclave is probably the final raid tier of Season of Discovery. So this is meant to last for a very long time. If they instantly turn this on, people will just grind out their bis, and they will get their full gear at this reasonable rate, which it is reasonable in the sense of everything we've done before in SOD. However, it's not reasonable in the sense everyone's just going to get their bis and then stop playing the game. So that's probably where we're headed. I hope I'm wrong, because I really love SOD, but I'm trying to be realistic and give you guys just the truth, whether or not you like it or whatnot. So let's read what some other people say. For whatever reason, Blizzard decided to PTR the Scarlet Enclave live instead of an actual PTR. I agree that the raid is currently balanced around 30 players. It's a shame they couldn't follow the BWL and activated hard mode. I enjoyed being able to create a pug on the easier level, harder setting with my main raid team. Anything they propose is going to upset someone at this point. To them, it'll be a lesson learned for future content. At this point, how could they not nerf the raid? Everyone is asking for it, and to it to be tuned to 20 players, they have They have to be seeing these threads. My raid is scrambling to find a second day that works for everyone, and we don't have enough time to finish the raid in 3 hours. It's fine the way it is. It's not that hard. It takes a bit of progression for 2 to 4 weeks. Then you're clearing it in a night, just as it should be the penultimate raid of the season. Love this idea, 2BH. For 30 players, yes, the raid is still difficult for the intended size that we've run the rest of the game. Getting more SE gear should not make the raid more doable. Getting the new gear should make the raid more of a cakewalk. I just want to hop on for a chill 3 hours with my guilds, get a full clear, and log off for the rest of the week. Having to stress every week in the raid is 6 hours is so over the top. I think everyone should have to post their logs, have opinions on scaling size raid. We do not have to listen to it's too easy or it's too hard from groups of widely unrepresentative raids. The hard mode toggle does seem to fit well for the SOT audience. SOT and Axe in particular worked really well. It's the "we got 30 minutes left, let's finish the raid" button. That is a very good example. So I've done quite a few iterations of this raid with the Sod Saviors. We have done the 35-man. We were able to full clear it with 35. We split this most recent week into our two 25-man teams. That didn't go very well. We got 7 of 8, couldn't beat Calderon. And we are now going to we're going to try a 30-30 split. So we're recruiting for our second raid team. Our first raid team, which goes tonight, should be able to clear with 30. I've just been hopping all over the place. We were close with our 25 core team that we've been running since MC. But it was just really, since BWL when they turned on 40, not MC. We had 20 of the people back in MC, but we upped it to 25 just because the raids feel a lot easier that way. So I've tried every single combination, and really I think it's just my people, like, every time we wipe, it's because someone's not executing a mechanic. We can hit the DPS checks, we can hit the healer checks, we're just failing straight up raid mechanics. And I know it's not easy, but that's progression, that is actual raiding, and for it being the final raid, I'm okay with that. I know the easy way is to beg for nerfs, to ask for it to be easier, to get a buff, but I actually love rising to the occasion and meeting the challenge. It has been some of the best raiding and most enjoyable content I've done in Season of Discovery. As much as it sucks to fail, as much as it sucks to lose, it's testing the infrastructure of my guild and my community, and we're able to hold through it and keep going, and that speaks volumes for it. But that's just my thoughts and experience on this whole thing. Obviously, a lot of people are here. We see Anachronos always complaining. Bro's been complaining since the raid came out. We do see a lot of newer names, so that's good as well. The next thread, nerf the last 2 bosses, SE, add ICC buff. We're getting to the 5th raid, and people still haven't cleared SE, and a lot of people in guilds are quitting already. Either nerf the last 2 bosses or make it more clearable, or start adding the ICC buff for people to clear faster and make bosses drop in additional tiers. Instant rebuttal, a lot of guilds are 8 of 8 now. It's okay to have guilds still struggling until you get more gear. I honestly don't know why classic players want all raid to just be free loot. No one wants to earn anything anymore, I guess. How many of these are 20-man? It's a 20-man raid. If you are 8 of 8 but bring more than 25, bring more than 25, then they say you didn't really clear it. 369 guilds have made it 8 of 8 on 40-man, only 51 on 20-man. Compare this to Balnazar, which has 14,960 on 40-man and 281 on 20-man. You clearly see there are a lot of guilds that are 8 of 8 now. Is a load of beep. 75% of guilds that have went into SC don't 8 out of 8 it in 40-man. If you go in with 20-man, only 18% go into it. So that the 40-man bracket is 21 to 40. Let's make that very clear. So it's not exactly everyone going in with 40. But yeah, 51 on 20-man with... So 51 out of 281 have full clear. That's a good stat, and those stats seem to be right. These were posted recently. Since right here, retail raid tiers last 6 months. I don't know why classic players think new raid tiers should last 3 weeks or less. Can you explain how the economics on how new raids are supposed to economically be viable to produce being consumed at that rate? Honestly, I'm not even joking. We all agree we want Classic Plus. Can someone explain to me how Classic Plus is sustainable at all base pace that you expect? So I really think, let's read Anachronos. I'm starting to like this guy here. This raid needs nerfs. My raid can only do 1 night a week. For a raid time, we only have time to down 5 out of 6 out of 8 bosses. This raid will never finish the raid because it's too hard. So this dude's talking about Straw Man. So we just have a lot of people going back and forth. Mainly Anachronos and Since going at it, which is always fun. Then we have another suggestion from another player for phase 8 concerning gear. I think this is probably the funniest thread I've ever led, but 25 reels for tier from the Scarlet Enclave, reduce boss health by 80%, reduce damage from mechanics by 90%. This will make everyone happier. Edit, as well as give us a buff of 25% more damage, health, and healing, of course. 80% might be too little. 90% would sure make the dads with 15 kids could maintain the one-button rotation and still come away with a sense of achievement. Also, expecting them to have time to get 25 reels is a stretch. This almost solves it, though. Great work. I know this is a troll thread, but I have to say the feelings of the people posting Nerfs for the first 3 weeks were valid and shouldn't be made light of people who lack the empathy of their fellow player. The guy who made this post wakes up in the morning with a huge grin on his face and goes, her. Make the tier 250 reels a piece and give us 1 or 2 pieces on the vendor. Easy peasy. We already have a chalice catch up. It's not the fastest thing, but we got something for tier outside the raid. Anything else is encroaching on retail systems. So this is obviously a troll post, but I just found it really funny, so I wanted to share it with you guys. There's just such a massive divide. Like, I really don't, like, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen it in my comment section as a war, whether it's too easy or too hard. I really do think the just activating hard mode for more loot would be better. Like, make the raid how it is hard mode, and the buff isn't too terrible of an idea. It's just the problem with that, and my only concern, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is it causes people to get full bists, and I'm truly concerned that if the sod is aerified, people will just get their full bists and quit. And as I've shared with my experiences, I have truly enjoyed progressing. And then I have a little gem to drop here for you guys that I thought was really interesting. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt, but Emerald Dream Phase 9 hints. In a recent hotfix, there is a new item called the Dream Journal with a book icon. This was already in the game files as a white Hearthstone icon. So this was introduced in Phase 3 as sort of a Dream Journal Hearthstone, as you can see right here, but it might... they might be adding to the dream, which I think would be a very naturally and great place to expand on. And then Dream Form is added. Obviously, saw it Phase 3. This is when you enter the Incursion portal. You get this, and you have everything with Incursion. So, very, very cool and very interesting stuff. Obviously, it could be them just tweaking something. But this is something to keep in mind. Y'all need to stop with this data mine hopium. This is what led to dwarf shamans and undead paladins being a rumor. If they announce Phase 9, we can all go nuts. But until then, seems like we're at the end. So this is a very rational post, and no one would ever hype up dwarf shamans or undead paladins. Could you believe people would just run with that and go all in on that? I don't know who would ever possibly have that notion or idea to do that. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Obviously being a little facetious here, but I think these are important discussions that people need to sort of realize, and the devs being a little quiet on it this week, it kind of makes me feel like they think the raid is good. I personally, overall, I think the raid is in a good spot. We have the you literally have the flexibility to bring more people if you cannot clear the raid. That is what you should do if you are struggling. Recruit, expand. If all these guilds are imploding, recruitment has never been easier. I literally recruited for 2 hours last night to make our Wednesday raid more refined and get it up to that 30 number, and I found, some dude DM'd me and he wanted to join with over 12 friends from a guild that just imploded. So if things like that are happening, it should be very easy to recruit new people and get people going. I know, obviously, I have my name and people recognize it and they might want to come because I'm a YouTuber. So I might have it easier than you guys, I admit, but, it's a well-established community and guild that I have driven since Sunken Temple, when the game was at its very lowest peak, or very lowest point. So, that's just my experience, once again. Always like to share it with what I'm actually doing in game and not just throw out these opinions. So anyway, guys, I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear what your thoughts are on if SC should be nerfed or not. So anyway, until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.